This is not complicated. Fire Nancy Pelosi. Retire Harry Reid. We're going to win in November, and Nancy Pelosi will be in the back of the bus.
I'm sorry? Nancy Pelosi will be in the back of the bus. Also, she'll be in her own special separate bathroom, and she'll be using her own special separate drinking fountain. Isn't that weird? The opposition for Republican Party Chairman Michael Steele's latest tragically butchered metaphor was today's big RNC meeting in Kansas City. In his eagerly awaited chairman's remarks, Mr. Steele announced that a Fire Pelosi bus tour, the one where she has to go to the back of the bus, that will be coming to your town this fall. He punctuated the announcement with a hat stunt.
So since I don't have a Blago hairdo problem, I'm wearing the hat. And I'm wearing it proud. And I want you to wear the hat too.
Now, I am more partial than most people to hat stunts. I love hat stunts. In fact, we probably overdo it when it comes to hat stunts on this show, I will admit it. But you know, this show is all that I'm in charge of. Michael Steele technically runs the Republican Party, and still he cannot stop with the hats.
Well, I look at it this way. The four of us are, let's say, for the sake of this example, all wearing a hat that says GOP. All right, you're from the West, you're from the Midwest, you're from the South, I'm from the Northeast. You wear your hat one way, you like to wear it, you know, kind of cocked to the left. Yeah, you know, because that's cool out West.
Right.
In the Midwest, you guys like to wear it a little bit to the right. In the South, you guys wear the brim straight ahead. Now, in the Northeast, I wear my hat backwards, you know, because that's how we roll in the Northeast. It's all very. But what do you recognize? We all are wearing the hat that says GOP because that's what we believe. That's who we are.
You know, it doesn't lose anything with the passage of time. Because that imaginary hat stunt went over so well on MSNBC's Morning Joe, Mika Brzezinski's facial expressions completely priceless in that clip. Mr. Steele later tried an extended remix of the hat metaphor in a sad, sad meeting we broadcast part of between him and a bunch of college Republicans.
What do they have in common? They're all wearing the same hat. Barack Obama's asked your generation to wear his hat, the hat of one man.
The hat of one man.
I'm asking you to go out and ask your friends to wear our hat, the hat of an idea.
The hat of an idea. Also an imaginary hat. Chairman Steele, I have to ask, I do not know who is advising you on these matters, but whoever it is on your staff who may be counseling you away from the hats, those people are bright people.
Some of our staff were concerned that these hats might make us look a little undignified, but I think the message says it all. Fire Nancy Pelosi.
The people telling you to stop doing the hat stunts in public are trying to help you. They're only trying to help you. Joining us now is former DNC chairman and governor of Vermont, Howard Dean. Good evening, Governor. No hat, I see.
If the hat fits, wear it, right?
Amazing. A Democratic spokesman today responded to Mr. Steele today by saying Democrats were planning to launch a Don't Fire Michael Steele tour. The idea being that Mr. Steele, particularly on things like fundraising, has been a disaster for the RNC, and so he's been good for Democrats. Do you see it that way? Do you think that he actually has been trouble for Republicans?
I think he is now. I was sort of his defender for a while because he was doing some things that the inside the Beltway Republicans wouldn't do. But at this point, he really has become a distraction. Even the fire of the speaker is not going to really get Republicans elected. The fundamental problem with Republicans is for 2 years, they've had one message, and that's no. That's just not good enough. And it's really almost too late for them to put together a platform that anybody's going to take seriously. Their platform has just been no. No to unemployed people, no to people who need health care, no to teachers and police officers that would have been fired if it hadn't been for the president's jobs bill that just passed. So, you know, they've got a lot of problems, and talking about hats and firing people is probably going to rally the base, but it's probably not going to get the independent voters who've been scared off by the Tea Party.
Doesn't it make sense, though, that Republicans should just be talking about Democrats, that Republicans should be trying to keep attention off of any specific policy ideas that they might have, whether it's Paul Ryan's roadmap in the House, which would privatize Social Security, or Sharon Engel's policies running for to replace Harry Reid in the Senate, wanting to do a lot of things that we wouldn't think of as very American things. Doesn't it make sense that they'd want to make the whole election about Democrats, as if Democrats are the sine qua non of the decision that voters have to make?
Well, yeah, except there's one problem with that, and that's in the last 2 or 3 weeks, the president has gone out and decided to Harry Trumanize the campaign, which I think is absolutely necessary and brilliant. He's been out there saying, look, this is not a referendum on whether the Democrats have done a good job or not. This is a choice. Do you want to move forward? I thought the business with the car was great. To move a car forward, you put it in D, and to move it backward, you put it in R. I mean, what more could you want? And so this has really become a choice. And if the president continues to do this 3 or 4 times a week, every week until the election, we're going to win this. I was calculating this morning. I think it's possible we might only lose 1 seat, because we are going to lose a bunch of seats for incumbents. But I think we have a chance at picking up 5 seats, including Louisiana, North Carolina, Kentucky, New Hampshire. And whether Kendrick Meek or Charlie Crist wins in Florida, that is a pickup for us. So. It's a loss for the Republicans. So, I think they're in deep trouble, and I don't think Michael Steele's, at this point, Michael Steele has become sort of an antic person instead of a substance person.
That's a remarkable prediction about Democratic prospects. That's definitely the rosiest prediction.
Well, it's not. Don't take it to the bank, but I'm saying it's possible. It's obviously tinged with some optimism. That assumes that Barbara Boxer and Patty Murray both hold their seats. So it's obviously tinged with some optimism. But I was using a figure of -5 until this week, and I think we may do better than that.
History definitely on the Republican side for the midterms, just in terms of the way the pendulum tends to swing in the first midterm election after a president is elected, is part of the reason that you are feeling more optimistic now, because Republicans' fundraising and their organizational strategy and the primary process, which picked a lot of really very far-right candidates for them, just isn't keeping pace with what they ought to be getting historically?
Well, the fundraising of the RNC isn't keeping pace, but then you've got the Crossroads Group, and of course the Citizens United decision was a real blow, allowing corporations to become people and buy their interests and their election strategies in Congress, even more so than they already have. But the fact is, without a message, you can't win. It doesn't matter how much money you have. If all you can do is smear the other side, that's not enough, especially when we've got the president who does deliver a constructive message.
Howard Dean, former DNC chairman, former governor of Vermont. Thanks for being here. Really interesting perspective from you on this.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it. All right, so I have learned much from Fox News anchor Bill O'Reilly. Like, for instance, the difference between ad hominem arguments and ad populum arguments. And I've also learned how to be the object of both kinds of those things at the same time. Later on, my ad veritas rebuttal to Mr. O'Reilly. Please do stay tuned.